Good day, gamers. Didn't really want to do this video. Not necessarily because I didn't want to share my experience or share an announcement with my fans and followers, but I just wish that I wouldn't have had to reach the point of making this video to begin with. Now, I'll just cut right to the chase, rip the band-aid off. I am leaving Facebook gaming permanently. Now, if you're watching this video on Facebook right now, you're probably one of my over 14,000 followers who have supported me as best as you could over the past year and a half that I've been on the platform. I want to thank you guys all very, very sincerely for giving me a great place to grow as a streamer and a content creator. And if you're watching on YouTube, you're probably just like me, a small streamer looking for the best place to take your stream and your content creation, looking for the best ways and the best places to grow your brand and your outreach. Now, I remember when I first started streaming and I was looking for where I wanted to plant my feet down and really dig in and try and make a home for the stream. I did the same thing. I did a lot of searches on YouTube looking for people's feedback on the various platforms, pros, cons, everything like that. So if that is how you found this video, thank you for trusting me with your time. I'm going to go over my experience with Facebook gaming and explain why I'm leaving Facebook and why you should too. Now, this is a decision that I've been working through for a while now, and as such, I have a lot of information that I wrote down over the past couple of months, particularly the last several weeks, outlining various talking points, going over my experience with Facebook gaming as a streamer on the platform, and the things that I've gone through, and basically all of what has led me to this decision here today. And out of those talking points, I'm going to start with the big one. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know that I've been kind of hinting around the fact that I was probably going to discuss this openly and publicly at some point, but hadn't really done so in great detail up until right now. So the first talking point is Facebook partnership. Now, for those of you who don't know, Facebook partnership is actually a pretty big deal. You get access to a whole suite of new things to help you grow your stream, grow your page, and grow your content. You get dedicated support. You get access to featured streams, which is where every couple of months, your Facebook partner manager will reach out to you and they'll offer you the opportunity to be featured on the Facebook gaming homepage under any given gaming title. It's a great opportunity. I know many people who have experienced massive growth through that, and that is honestly a huge perk of Facebook partnership. You also get access to running ads for your streams, not running ads on your streams, but actually promoting the stream itself while you are live. You can run that as an ad to reach more people for that specific live stream. Another really weird thing on Facebook that's locked behind partnership is stream thumbnails. Now, when you're going live on Facebook, you always have the option to add a thumbnail to your stream, but for whatever reason, they decided that only partners would actually have their thumbnails displayed in the newsfeed and on their page. Really, really weird thing to lock to partnership. To become a Facebook partner, it's pretty simple on the surface level. In your creator studio, they outline a whole list of things and criteria that you need to meet, things they want you to accomplish before you become a partner. Among that criteria is engaged followers, returning viewers, and of course, income. What do I mean by income? I mean literally $2,000 in stream donations over the course of a 1-month period. Now, as many of you know, for small streamers of basically any size, $2,000 in donations in 1 month is a lot. That's a lot to take in. In fact, $2,000 in specifically just donations. I do want to clarify that is just donations. That's not $2,000 in overall page revenue coming in from ad breaks or memberships. It is literally just donations. And for basically any streamer who isn't already at the top of their game and maybe on the cusp of becoming like a big streamer, $2,000 a month in just donations is a lot. Now, you might be wondering, well, why would Facebook prioritize monetization and the amount that a streamer has made rather than the actual quality of their content or other analytics that tie into their outreach and how many followers they have, how many followers are actively enjoying the content, maybe even how many monthly memberships they're earning? But why specifically donations? Well, that's the only one that Facebook makes money off of. And in fact, Facebook makes a lot of money off of donations that Facebook streamers receive. Facebook runs their donations through a in-app purchase called stars, and basically the more you spend, the more stars that you get. It becomes a little bit of a better value. However, at the lower end, basically $10 and under, Facebook takes more money out of your donations than Twitch or YouTube. So that's why Facebook wants to prioritize their partnered streamers making a certain amount of money each month, because they want to prioritize themselves making a certain amount of money each month. Now, all gripes about the criteria for becoming a partner aside, the biggest issue that I had once I did, in fact, meet all of the partnership criteria is the actual partnership process itself. And it was an absolute nightmare for me. And I guess I should clarify, it technically is still actively a nightmare for me. However, I'm going to refer to it in the past tense, as I have just given up. Now, at the time of recording this video, I am recording on July 2nd, 2022. I submitted my Facebook partnership application on January 24th, 2022. That means it has been over 5 months since I applied for my partnership, and I have yet to hear anything back on that. I suppose it's worth clarifying, I have heard some things back on that, but there hasn't been a decision made. In fact, the last update I had was that I needed to reapply. Now, before I jump too far ahead of the game here, let me go back a couple steps and explain what happened with the partnership process. Now, when you apply, Facebook is pretty transparent about the fact that it might take a little while to get a response. In fact, they say straight up as you're applying, please allow 6 to 8 weeks for our team to review your application. So I allowed 6 to 8 weeks. Around week 7, I opened a support ticket and I advised in there that, hey, I am still missing my partnership badge. I haven't heard anything from anyone about this partnership aside from the confirmation email and the non-disclosure agreement that I signed 7 weeks ago. I was advised to be 6 to 8 weeks, just looking for any sort of an update that I can get. And that was the start of a very, very long and fruitless rabbit hole that I had to chase Facebook down. Now, after opening that ticket just before the 2-month mark, I then spent the following 2 months following up frequently every single week, at least once a week, looking for any update. The entire time, I got no news, no real updates, just the same kind of blanket corporate response. Our team has your application. We're in the process of reviewing. We'll follow up with you if more information is needed. Now, once I had finally reached the 3-month mark of this ticket being open, I sent a very stern message advising that I needed an escalation and I needed a response to my partnership, because I had been missing out on months worth of partnership features and benefits that I should have had access to, that I was entitled to after meeting the criteria. And that was value lost on my brand, on my content, and on my stream that I should have had all of these months ago. And the good news is that after basically demanding an escalation, I was given one. Kind of. I had somebody new reply on the thread that was months long, and the only update that they gave me was that I needed to reapply for partnership. So just to summarize, almost 5 months after I submitted my application, I was told I needed to resubmit a new application, which would then take at least 6 to 8 weeks again. But the big problem wasn't necessarily that they had lost my application after months of telling me that they had it and were reviewing it. The problem is that I didn't have access to submit a new application. And worse yet, for weeks after they told me I needed to submit a new application, and I immediately told them I don't have access to submit one through my creator studio like I did previously, can you please direct me to a means by which I can apply manually? I got no response. Now, they didn't tell me that my application was lost, but I figured they wouldn't be asking me to reapply unless the application was lost. So I was told that, and then given 0 steps on how I should reapply. And now, this whole partnership fiasco is honestly pretty devastating, because that is a major accomplishment. Any small streamer knows that taking the steps to eventually being partnered on your platform, and this is beyond, just an affiliate, just unlocking the ability to receive donations, but actual partnership and getting that check and that special badge next to your name, that's a huge accomplishment. And not only like emotionally vested in achieving that, but there are a lot of financial kickbacks to that as well. That's the type of thing that you slip into your portfolio, and then on every sponsorship opportunity you can throw in, oh, by the way, I am partnered on my platform. And that actually makes a difference when you're talking to brands. So personal devastation aside, a major issue that I take with this partnership situation is that in a lot of ways, you could probably call that theft. And I am just going to straight up call it theft. Facebook requires that I get $2,000 in donations, which they in turn make money off of before I can become a partner. So Facebook has a financial criteria that makes them money before they will do anything. and then they still didn't do anything. So Facebook enforces a monetary criteria in exchange for partnership. And after they've already received that monetary criteria and that has been satisfied, they still withhold the partnership that you are supposed to receive after making Facebook a certain amount of money. And I think that's pretty messed up. And now I get that even reaching the point of applying for partnership is a lot for a lot of streamers, and maybe that's not where you're at if you're looking at potentially going to Facebook. So I know I spent a lot of time on that point. Let me move on to the other points that are much more generalized and will affect more of the audience streaming on Facebook as a whole, as again, partnership and even reaching the point of applying for partnership doesn't apply to most streamers on Facebook. Probably the biggest issue with Facebook gaming that everyone experiences on Facebook, and you will experience yourself if you decide to go that route, is throttled outreach. And I'm not just talking about like your outreach going down and, maybe the algorithm moving like a wave and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I'm talking about literally throttling your outreach to force you to run ads. Hear me out. Now, one thing that I always got complaints about from my followers on Facebook and in the chat on my streams and even in direct messages, people would reach out to me directly to try and express their concern over this issue, is they wouldn't get notified that I was live. Even if they had notifications turned on, they still weren't getting notified. So I tried figuring out why exactly it is that they weren't getting notified when they should have been. Now, just for perspective, I have over 14,000 followers on Facebook. Over 5,000 of those followers have notifications turned on. Now, generally speaking, that's a very high and impressive percentage of followers with notifications turned on compared to the total amount of followers. That's something I took a lot of pride in. And as a content creator and a streamer, you always hear people saying, hey, be sure to turn on notifications, hit that bell notification button, stuff like that. It takes a lot of work to encourage your following to turn on notifications, and there's so much value in people being notified when you go live, when you upload a video, anything like that, because everything feeds into growing each individual video, which grows your channel. Everybody has the same goal. So when you go through that effort and people are turning on notifications and you see you have a very high level percentage of people with notifications, but they're still not getting them, it makes you scratch your head a bit. So I looked a little bit into Facebook's scuffed notification situation, and I found two things that were pretty jarring. Item number one, turning on notifications does not actually turn on notifications for all of their posts. Weird. What it does is it turns on notifications for highlights, which essentially means that Facebook will prioritize at their own will and the algorithms will the post for whatever page you turned on notifications for. In no way does it actually notify you of everything they have going on. It still puts it through an algorithm and determines at that point if that post is worthy of being in your news feed among the other ads and suggested posts. Now, that doesn't mean that the option to always get notified doesn't exist. It's just hidden deep within the notification system. If you go into your notification settings for any given page, you'll actually see that, and you will have the option to turn on notifications for all posts or all live streams, something along those lines. But that's not the default setting. Therefore, that is not what most people have active. Not to mention, who goes into their notification settings for a page and like checks for each page? Nobody does that. And Facebook knows that, and that's how they make more money off of ad revenue, by controlling what's in your news feed. And speaking of ad revenue, that led to the second and probably most discerning thing I found about why followers weren't getting notified or seeing my streams. Now, Facebook puts a huge emphasis on pages running ads. That's how they make money. To an extent, it's totally understandable. However, the extent to which they will throttle your organic outreach to force you to run ads is actually disgusting. Now, one of the worst proofs of this, one of the worst pieces of evidence of this that I found is when you go to run an ad and create an ad on Facebook. Now, let's say you post a new video and you want to reach a new audience, so you're going to run an ad on it to try and push it out to more people. Well, the weird thing is whenever you go to create the ad, one of the options for your audience isn't even a new audience. It's your existing followers. Under the audience tab when creating an ad on Facebook is literally the option to send the video to people who already like your page. And again, that's pretty messed up. These are people who are already following your page, people who have already liked your page. Why aren't they being shown your content by default? Well, because Facebook is throttling the outreach to force you to run ads to show your content to your own followers. I'm going to dive into my next point, which is earnings. Now, earnings on Facebook is a little bit of a weird beast because recently they've been rolling out these things called bonuses. A lot of various things, and honestly, objectively, they were good to add and they were good for streamers. I know I personally increased my revenue and my income on Facebook significantly some months thanks to these bonuses. But the problem with these bonuses is that they were random. They were literally rolled out randomly to creators. At any given point, I may have had the subscriber bonus while a friend of mine didn't have the subscriber bonus. There was no way to count on revenue or even to plan promotional materials or to plan content or plan how to speak to these points on stream accordingly because they would just show up randomly. There were times where I would get a notice of a bonus a week after it had already been active. Now, speaking of the Reels Play bonus, Facebook rolled out Reels a while ago. They put a huge emphasis on it. Weird thing, I got the Reels Play bonus, which meant an extra opportunity to make income, but I didn't have access to post Reels. They rolled out the access to creating and posting Reels slowly in waves over time, and again, seemed completely random as I didn't have access and I knew many pages with less of a following than I did that did get access. It was just odd, not only that they offered me a bonus that I couldn't use, but it sucked because I had a bonus that I couldn't use instead of a bonus that I could use, which again hurts my ability to earn on Facebook, and that is caused by the wild inconsistency of their earnings programs. You know what else really hurts your ability to earn money on Facebook? Copyright violations. Now, looking at my notifications from this past week, I have had copyright claims filed on at least 5 different videos of mine. They were all live streams, and oddly enough, the only music being played was Stream Beats by Harris Heller. And a lot of you guys are familiar with Stream Beats. It's totally copyright-free music. It's a fantastic program put out by Harris Heller / Alpha Gaming / Senpai Gaming now. In these notifications for a copyright claim, it literally listed the song title and the fact that the artist was Stream Beats by Harris Heller, yet this random page was still making a claim on it. Worst part, they were running ads on my content. And because I had a copyright violation on my page, I lost access to run ads myself. Kind of funny how that works. Someone makes a copyright claim that's bogus and inaccurate. I lose the ability to make ads myself through my monetization tools while they can run ads and make money off of my content instead. And I want to note that I screenshotted this and I tweeted it out and I let Harris Heller and Stream Beats both know on Twitter that there are accounts filing false copyright claims against their music. And Harris himself even replied, and the consensus kind of seems to be that Facebook doesn't care and is impossible to work with musically. Now, a little example of this copyright issue comes from when I was streaming earlier this week. And I'm going to post a little bit of my rant from that stream where I was live and actually got a notification as I was live that a copyright claim had been made and new ads were being run on my content. This is what's going to blow your mind. Actually, no, you know what? I'm going to show you guys this whole thing. I'm literally just going to show you this whole screen in Google Chrome. This is unedited. This is in my Facebook Creator Studio. Restricted monetization. Your ability to earn is limited because ZARD isn't following our partner monetization policies. Violations affecting your monetization tools. Limited originality of content. It's for real. I wish this was a joke. It sounds like a joke reading it out loud. ZARD shared content that was unoriginal or repurposed content from other sources with limited added value. Your videos may be claimed and monetized by the rights holder. You guys may notice over here, request another review. I can't. You know what happened when I hit that button the first time? Nothing. I hit it and it grayed out. I didn't get to do anything. I never got a response. They are letting people claim copyright on my videos and then restricting my ability to monetize my own content because of false copyright strikes and also stripping my ability to dispute them and get it reviewed. It's a joke. It's actually a joke. It's insane. It's insane. And then I've got on Twitter, Harris Heller himself saying music on Facebook is absurd. We've jumped through incredible hoops to make it safe on there. They still mute all kinds of safe music. It's just not a great platform for creators. Sorry, homie. That's from the dude who actually owns the music that's getting claimed and in turn restricting my monetization on Facebook. That's the actual copyright holder basically saying, like, we have tried our hardest and Facebook is too scuffed to do anything about. I've had instances of the game music being claimed as copyright. In fact, a while back, I even played a stream with no audio at all, aside from myself on the mic, just as a test for these weird, crazy, nonstop copyright claims. And I still got a copyright claim put on my video with no audio other than myself talking. No game audio, no background music, no alert sounds, just my voice. And it still got a copyright claim. And I still couldn't do anything about it. Now, the last talking point that I want to make here is based on the algorithm. Now, this is both Facebook's greatest strength and its greatest weakness. The problem is that the algorithm on Facebook is very hard to figure out. And I think that a part of why it is so hard to figure out, again, ties back into Facebook's constant priority on forcing pages to run ads. There were times when the algorithm was very kind to me. A week or two of time where I was averaging over 1,000 concurrent viewers on stream. That's when I hit my personal record of 2.7 thousand peak viewers on one stream. And what's crazy is that I wanted to use that as an opportunity to run an experiment. So I tried using that same incredible stream with 2.7 thousand viewers. I used the same exact title, description. In the following week, I went live at the same date, at the same time, and got less than half of the results. And by less than half, I mean notably less than half. My average viewer that evening was around 100, which in most instances is still pretty good. However, inconceivable how the exact same information on the exact same evening and time led to such a drastic reduction in viewership. And I'm sure there's some like real Facebook search engine gurus out there who know a lot more about this than I do. Because I'll admit, in all of my experimentation, it seemed totally random. And I streamed on Facebook exclusively for a long time. And then I even multi-streaming to Facebook and YouTube. Keeping Facebook in there, I still ran my experiments. I still checked my analytics. I still checked on everything to try and make sense of this Facebook algorithm. Algorithm. And I just couldn't get anything to click. While the opposite is true with my experience on YouTube. YouTube also runs on an algorithm and it runs on search engine optimization. And using a pretty decent knowledge of search engine optimization and making thumbnails and good titles and descriptions that'll pull up in search results and engage viewers when they see them works really well on YouTube, which further perplexes me as to how it doesn't work at all on Facebook. One example I'll use is a video that I posted on YouTube, which at this point has over 100,000 views. That's my most viewed video on this channel. And again, as a small creator, getting 100,000 views on an actual YouTube video, full length with ads and mid-roll ads, that's huge. And I am so grateful for the growth that I've gotten on that video. But I posted the exact same video on Facebook with the exact same title, description, posted it at the exact same time. Same thumbnail, everything identical. On Facebook, it got 73 views. And that's extremely weird because views on Facebook are actually easier to count than views on YouTube. Facebook counts a view if someone scrolls through their newsfeed and stops on your post for more than 3 seconds. Even if they don't view it beyond that, maybe they were checking a different notification, it still counts as a view. So getting high views on Facebook is actually notably easier than YouTube, which just makes it all the more confusing why sometimes it works and sometimes it just doesn't. And so that's the summary on my unfortunately very negative experience streaming on Facebook as my primary platform over the past year and a half. And with that, I hope you understand my justification for leaving the platform, and I will now be streaming exclusively with YouTube gaming. Thank you guys for watching. If you have questions about good places to start your stream, good ways to start your content as a small streamer, feel free to leave a comment down below. I read every one of my comments. I try to reply to as many as I can. Let's talk down there and see what you got going on. Love the games, love yourself, and I love you. Bye.